All right, so in the last video, we talked about these formulas and these highlighted coefficients. The way that you get them from making the triangle is you take any two above, and if you add them together, you'll find the next one on the next row in the next equation. And that works well up to a certain point, but then it starts to get quite challenging. Also, once this triangle grows large, you wouldn't really go much past the fifth row, maybe up to the 10th row, but other than that, there's a better way. And so I want to explain how to calculate these, which is what these symbols here are. There's a method for calculating these values so that we don't have to make the whole triangle out all the way to a lower level. Now, to explain this though, let's consider this multiplication here. And rather than using the box method, I'm going to take a different approach to multiplying it, and that is to consider the combinations. So at one point in the multiplication, this A multiplies that A, multiplies that A, and that I'm going to list that as the combo, A times A times A. And then there's another circumstance whereby the A multiplies the A and then multiplies the B instead, AAB. And we could also multiply A, then B, then A, and so on. So I'm going to write down all of the combinations if we pick one of either A or B and multiply by the next A or B and then times the third A or B and list out all those combinations. So I have 3 so far, and the next one, BAA, and then BBA, BAB, ABB. I already got that one. ABB, and lastly, B times B times B. So there's no other way. No, there's no other combination of multiplying if you pick one thing from each parenthesis and multiply it. Now, there is one A to the third power. There are 3 whereby A is to the second power and B is to the first. And then just to stick here, this is B to the 0. I'm going to write it because ultimately we're heading towards a larger formula here, so we have to see what the numbers are doing as we go along. In this case, there are also 3 A to the first power and B squared. And then lastly, there is 1 B to the third power. So these coefficients, the 1, the 3, the 3, and the 1 they're predictable, and they have this notation. So there's 2 different ways to say the same thing, and you have to know both of these in case one is used or the other is used. And in this case here, this number 1 is representing 3C, and I'll explain the C in a moment. So you have 3 positions, and you're going to choose 0 of them to be B's. So that's the exponent on B is 0, implying that they're all A's. So this 1 is 3 positions, 3 spots, 3 choose 0. And that's how you say this symbol, 3 choose 0. This one would be 3 choose 1. So in all 3 of these cases, we have 3 positions and there's 1 B. It's somewhere. It's either the last, the second, or the first place. This would be 3 choose 2, and then 3 choose 3. Now, I'm also going to write, this is going to be A to the 0 times B to the third. So we can see that in all of these terms, the A is counting down and the B is counting up. And it's the same formula as we wrote down in the triangle here for the third, if you go back to previous notes, it's the same formula. We've just come about it a different way with the perspective of combinations. So the n in this case, that's the 3. It's the maximum exponent. So whatever this is, that's the n. Now the r is, it doesn't stand for anything in particular. It's just not a very commonly used letter. So r is going to be the exponent on b, and that's always going to match. Now, to make things a little more challenging, there's another way to say the same thing, and that's with this parenthesis, and the 3 and the 0 are stacked instead, and it looks cleaner. So some people prefer this over the having extra letters, and these are subscripts, by the way. They're small and lower, and this would be 3 choose 1, 3 choose 2, and 3 choose 3. These are all it doesn't matter. The values are what are in the boxes here. And if we try to extend the labeling system to maybe a different scenario, like back to these ones, this 10, this would be, if we're doing the choose, the n is 5, so it'd be 5, and this would be choose 2 b's. Now, we won't actually go through the combinations to get out this. It gets a little out of control. But that's a labeling system for these. You could also call it 5 choose 2. Now, if we go back, this one is 5 choose 1, and then 5 choose 0. And I think I may have mentioned the first term, that's the first term, but this is a 0. And then this is the second term, but this is a 1. And that labeling system is a little bit goofy and can sometimes trip people up. So this one, to complete the 3, 5 choose 4, and then 5 choose 5, which is always 1. So these two are always 1. And then the other ones, you have to calculate them. So it's convenient if you have to do a larger number, like this one is the 5th row of this triangle, and that's not too complicated. But if the question asks for maybe the 20th row or anything larger, it does get too much to do using just the triangle method. You have to calculate these values here. And so let's see if we can calculate on our calculators. And I just have this bootlegged app here. So it looks similar to the TI-84, but I don't have a TI-84 on me right now. So we're going to try to calculate this 10. We're going to try to retrieve this 10, pretending we didn't already know what it was. And then we're going to do the calculation 5 choose 3. And then we'll put in the 5 first. So that's a 5. It's not a 5. That's a 5. And then we have to find the choose notation here. And that's under math. So we're going to hit math. And you'll have these headings. Yours defaults, it shows you all of the math, calculate the symbols that are common. We want the probability, which is PRB on your calculator, probability. And there's a couple of other ones for other purposes, but we want the nCr option. And if we select that, it puts a C here. And then we're going to do 3 next. So this is 5 choose 3, and the value is 10. And so that's how you would calculate it's tough. Calculate these without making the triangle all the way out to a larger level. So again, those calculator instructions on the TI-84, you go math. Actually, you have to put your number first. Type your number that you want for the first part in, and then you go math and key over to PRB for probability. And then it's the couple down, I think it's number 3, nCr. and then you put in your second number for the r.